I wanted it a little bit more.
Oh yeah, you gotta be louder.
Speak up.
Sorry.
Okay, there you go. All right, thank you very much for inviting me. This is a great honor to have anybody, especially a group of people, to say we want to hear you speak. I prepared a speech for you, not about my campaign, but it really is about my campaign, once you get the idea. A couple years ago, I wondered how America would stand up to adversity. I wondered if people cared for one another anymore, or issues in the world. I wondered how Americans' kindness compared to their predecessors. How were they, say, when we were fighting for freedom and independence against England? Or the resilience we had in 1812? Or how about when we faced off against world domination in World War II, or stared down nuclear annihilation under John F. Kennedy? I think today, with all of you here that came to listen to these candidates, motivated, the idea that we push down this abomination of a health care plan, I think that spirit's alive. And I think the Americans that made America great are here. But today we're faced with a new challenge that harkens back to one of our country's darkest days. In an ironic twist, that historic challenge shares the same namesake as this Republican event, the spirit of Lincoln. Today's Republicans couldn't be a greater contrast from Lincoln's Republicans. After taking office, Abraham Lincoln found himself facing a divided nation like ours today. He struggled for unity, ultimately waging a war against his own countrymen and women, against the worst form of inequality. Today's Republicans are now the promoters of inequality. Today's GOP would rather divide a nation than unify a country. In Lincoln's words in the Emancipation Proclamation, we hear a fight in our responsibility. I want to read this. It is rather for us, the living, we here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave their last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve these dead shall not have died in vain. That the nation shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from earth. We find our times in those words for ourselves, for our fallen heroes of the past, and for our futures to be. We cannot stand by while children starve, while our elderly die from lack of care. We cannot sit by and ignore the plight of our veterans we asked to go to work. We cannot permissively allow our government to practice institutional discrimination. We will not divide gender, race, religion, disabilities, or sexual orientation. The United States will remain united. I'm a U.S. Army veteran of the 82nd Airborne. I served my country once before. I'll serve it again. We will take back our Congress. We will take back our country. We will take back our future. Resist and persist. Thank you. Questions. If you actually want me to talk about my platform, I can do that. I wasn't planning on, that's why I wasn't part of. I just, the reaction of when I found out this was about the Lincoln dinner, I was like, my God, is there anything you don't slap in the face? History? And what Lincoln? Like Lincoln, I'm just going to go on this tangent now. Abraham Lincoln was faced with a nation that was split and going to war. And he had to send family against family, brother against brother. And to sit here and push your inequalities and take away health care, allow people to die, and children, 40% of children are already hungry. And you're going to take away more? And you're going to take away more from our veterans? You're going to take more away from our elderly? You're going to discriminate against people? just because of who they want to marry? What a slap in the face. We need change, and we need change now. And we need to quit talking about allowing these narratives to continue.
Could you give us a brief synopsis of your platform and how far along you are in your
Yes, sir.
organizational process?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Which would you like first?
Platform. Did you guys get the card? We sort of sent them around.
So my platform is based on an economic platform. What I promise, because one of the things that people hate is politicians promising things that they can't deliver. I got two bills that I can do in 2 years, first term. I can do a free trade school. And the reason I want to do a free trade school is we are entering a time of automation. We are entering a time where we need to get people, to teach people higher skills. Higher skills mean higher pay. That means that people will be able to earn higher pay. That feeds into the tax base. That means people have money to spend in their community. Even other small businesses will flourish. The other idea is a small business rescue grant. I hate calling it rescue grant, but I never came up with a better name if you have it. The idea is you have a small business, and the first 5 years is struggling. We're in terrible economic times, especially in my district. 5 of my districts are very poor. The unemployment rate is 6.4% as opposed to 4.7% of the national average. Small businesses struggle for good reasons, and not because they're bad. I mean transportation. I was in Westmoreland County, I was talking to some small businesses, and they were talking about, we have a theater, but we can't visit it because the public transportation ends at 7 p.m. Well, think about that. Well, now the theater isn't making money, and the coffee shops, and the afterlife, the nightlife. Sorry about that. I'm still thinking that their healthcare plan passed. I can't get out of my mind. But so it's not just transportation, but it's the small businesses. You need an infrastructure. So you need an infrastructure. You build a tax base. How do you build a tax base? Well, you take the poorest people and you bring them up away from the poverty level, and now you can do it. If you save a small business, you're not just saving a small business and that tax money, you're saving the jobs of those employees. And now they are adding to that tax base. And now they have money to spend at those businesses. Now, instead of that small business going under and those employees working there, now withdraw from the tax base through unemployment. This is just basic ground level economics. Enough with tax breaks at corporations. Enough with shipping jobs. Enough with the wealthy. The wealthy are wealthy. They don't need more tax breaks. You know, reinvest. Reinvest in America. And that's why this will work in District 12. Because that is a reinvestment in the American people. That is an investment in their communities. Those bills don't do anything for the extreme wealth. This is for them, their families. Even if they don't like me and I pass my bills, they are still benefited.
I have a question.
Yes.
2 questions, actually. One, do you have a website?
Yes, I do.
You can pick up all this information.
Yes. My website is tompriggforcongress.com. I have a Facebook page. It's Tom Prigg 2018 and Twitter 2018.
Second question, when we talk about District 12,
Yes.
do you recognize the illusion you're making?
Hunger Games. Yes.
It's so timely because we just asked Meals on Wheels, right? And they're in there having
Meals on Wheels with their dining
They're
cars.
sitting up there.
Yeah, they're
Wait, are there sound?
Yes.
Oh, you know we can't put our cards on there.
It wasn't by accident. District 12 is in application on coal money.
Yes. Oh, cards.
Yes. I like it.
Should I take that?
I think we need to keep moving. So the website, you guys have the website, I'm encouraging
And I have
you,
cards if you like them and
We
things like that. And if you got more questions for me.
Facebook and the website,